Know thyself? What does that even mean? Your years of seeking has brought you to this point. Now surrender to this moment and find answers to the questions you didn't know you had. What exactly is self-realization? What is the need for self-realization? What is the method? Does this mean the end of our worldly existence? What do we really attain with this? In this spiritual master class with Kanche, learn the path of self-inquiry and become masters of your own destiny. Welcome to Tapas. Discover the newest books to our collection, The Heart of Everything and the magnum opus Abhinava Vijayam, both penned by the gifted author Kanchi. If you'd like to read the books, then check out the description down below.
What is the need for self-realization? Are there any prerequisites to be a spiritual seeker? Can I do it? There is literally nothing to do. If you want to gain something new, then you have to do something. There is literally nothing to do because you are that. You are that. It is not something to be gained in the future. Self-realization is not a new event in your life. Ignorance. Ignorance of your own true state. You don't see it because of ignorance. Your own natural state is that supreme state of being. That itself is self-realization. Knowing who you are, being as you are. It is self-realization. So there is no action that can lead to self-realization because you are that. Nothing in the field of action or thought can give you something anew. It cannot bestow upon you the supreme state because the supreme state is beyond thought and action. It is beyond the realm of name and form. It is beyond space and time. So nothing you do can lead to that. But like I already said, you are already that. So what needs to be done? What really is self-realization? It is to be rid of the ignorance. And that is it. Nothing new needs to be gained. Just to be rid of the ignorance of your own self. To rid yourself of the ideas, the doubts you have about your own natural state. So the question, what is the need for self-realization? Well, what is the need to wake up from a dream? There is no need. But the dream is not your true state. It is an illusion. And what did you gain by waking up? You lost all the figurines of your dream, all the stories you built up. You have lost. You might have been a king in the dream. You lost your kingdom of dream. But that doesn't seem to bother you. Because all the stories you built up, that is unreal. It was never real to begin with. So it cannot be lost because it never existed in the first place. In the same way, self-realization is just waking up to your true reality. Self-realization is just waking up. You lose the unreal, and the real seems to have been gained. But really, it was never lost, never hidden, never not perceptible. Without that perfect being, without that awareness, Without the witnessing consciousness, there can be no mind, there can be no life, there can be no perception of the universe. That is the essence of life. So, what are the prerequisites for a spiritual seeker? When grace is ever present, nothing is needed. But just as in a mirror, you cannot see your face clearly because of the dust accumulated. So, if there is a dirty mirror, you cannot see your face with clarity. You might not be dirty yourself, you're clean, but the mirror is dirty. You know? So you imagine yourself to be dirty. You cannot see your reflection with clarity. The same way, your true self is not reflecting clearly in your consciousness. So it is difficult to recognize yourself. Self is ever pure. It is the reflection in the mind that is dirty. It is the mirror, it is the mind that reflects your true state. That is dirty. So all that is needed is to clean the mirror, is to purify the mind, purify your consciousness. So that is the path. So first we need to clean the mirror of consciousness, dust of ignorance and illusion and half-truths and forgetfulness of the state of being. So for this, the Shastras, the ancient scripture, the Vedas, the Upanishads prescribed a few things to get you going on the path. The first thing is mumukshatva. Mumukshatva is the desire to be realized, that desire to break free from bondage, the desire to know your own self, the deep thirst for knowledge, an undying love for truth. Without this, nothing is possible. This path is not for those who don't really aspire for the truth. This is not a hobby. Why are we born? To what great purpose? It's not just for desire fulfillment. We are born as human beings so we can in turn break the cycle of life and death. It is not just to eat, sleep, have sex, make babies and just go on the cycle of fulfilling desires and getting caught in this existence. It's not just for that. So to what great purpose? It is to break that cycle of life and death once and for all. Only human beings can do that. Animals cannot discriminate, they cannot discern. They don't have the instrument to discern the truth from that which is false. Only humans have that. And this is not given just so you can build magnificent buildings and architecture and develop technology. We're born as human beings. It's a great blessing to break the cycle of life once and for all. Know thyself and be free of the illusion of limited being. So if this is not the main goal in your life, this is not the main purpose of your life, then you should not be here. Go on and continue the path of materialism and go back into samsara, creating bondage and eating the bitter fruits of your karma. But if in your heart you have a true desire for completion, for fulfillment, for peace, for real happiness, not from objects but real happiness, not pleasure. And this is all you really sincerely care about, and you're willing to spend your life thriving for this, seeking the truth, if you're a mumukshu, a true mumukshu, truly invested into the path of self-realization, self-inquiry, then we can move on to the next principle. This is the first prerequisite. Without the desire for fulfillment, without the desire to break the cycle of life and death, without the true desire for freedom, we have nothing. So now you are one pointed in the search for freedom. But just being one pointed is difficult when you have desires for the worldly objects. So give them up. Give up. You don't need to give up on the objects. You only give up the desire for gaining them. As soon as you own something, you start worrying, you start caring about its maintenance, you start feeling anxious about losing it. That object could be a wife, could be a husband, a son, a job, a car, any object gained anew is a recipe for anxiety. So what we need to give up is the sense of ownership and the pattern of desiring. Stop desiring temporary things. Temporary things give temporary pleasures, but unlimited pain. What happiness do you gain from temporary objects? Think about this. If it's temporary, can you really find permanent happiness with that? What happiness can you gain from such objects? They can never make you happy. So the idea here is to develop a sense of detachment. Not holding on to things, not grabbing onto things, not being entitled in your relationships with any person. All the things you own, not having a sense of doership, not having a sense of ownership. This is mine, I need to protect it, I need to hold on to it, I need to make this permanent. It cannot be permanent. If it's gained on you, you will lose it. Eventually, if not today, tomorrow, if not tomorrow, day after. You're going to separate from this object. The more you hold on to it, the more pain you are in. The best way to deal with this is to have a sense of detachment. Become detached, unattached. Don't hold on to it. Don't grab on to what is yours today was somebody else's yesterday. And it will belong to someone else tomorrow. This is the cycle of life. You can't own something forever. Your wife or someone else's daughter before you married her. Tomorrow her priorities might change. She might start loving your children more than she loves you. It doesn't matter. Because then you have to separate old age, sickness, disease, death. You have to separate. You cannot hold on to someone forever. Know this now. What is the point of grabbing onto things, not being able to enjoy the true essence of that? This is vairagya, detachment, true detachment. Without attachments, with vairagya, you will find a great peace. This is minimalism, true minimalism of thought, in thought, action, and words. And you own nothing mentally. Nothing owns you. You're not bound by those objects. Only when you think you own them, you're bound by them. You're not bound by objects and the fruits they bear. So, in a way, vairagya or detachment is synonymous with freedom. True freedom. This takes us to a state of surrender. Surrender to the divine. It's not even important who you surrender to. Please understand that surrender itself is important. The sense of Surrendering is dropping the ego, say, believing or trusting that there is a higher energy than you, a higher force than you. Surrender itself is the path and the goal. It is truly an outpouring of all your fears, anxieties, emotional package. And this includes your entire past, everything you're holding on to. Nothing henceforth is in your hands. You drop it. Drop it in the hands of the divine, of that universal consciousness, that divine intelligence that runs the world, that divine intelligence that runs your body and your mind and the cosmos. This intelligence can easily handle your baggage. So don't carry it. Give up all the anxiety of the future. Become truly resigned to your fate. Let God be your guide, your mentor, your mother. I don't know if you ever noticed how a cat carries its kitten. Like a kitten being carried by the mother cat. You're now firmly in the clutches of the divine. You don't have to do anything about it. She will carry you. She will feed you. She will take care of you. You know what I mean is psychologically, drop this sense of I and mine and holding on to things and surrender to the divine, surrender to the higher intelligence, surrender to existence, surrender to your fate. What has to happen will happen. All the rivers merge into the ocean. And just like how all the rivers lead into the ocean, in the same way, all souls lead into that fire of Brahman, the supreme light of Brahman, that supreme consciousness. Every karma is burnt in that divine light of consciousness. Every individual will be absorbed in that ocean of consciousness. The wave becomes the ocean, never again to feel divided and limited. This is true surrender. Surrender and be as you are. Don't divide your consciousness. Everything is one. Give up the sense of individuality. Surrender absolutely, no questions asked. And surrender is nothing but divine love. That love where you want to melt in the arms of the beloved. Where you cannot exist a moment away from your beloved. The same way, a lover of God, he truly trusts, believes in the Supreme Soul, the Supreme Self, a divinity that rules all. Call him by whatever name, does not matter. But that divinity rules everything, rules all. He is in the heart of all beings. He loves with all his heart, with no intention of any personal gain. Love. Learn to love for the sake of loving. And see that same divinity in all beings. Give up divisions between men. Treat everybody equally with love. You must see the divinity in all beings, in all objects, under all circumstances. This divine love, it's called bhakti. It's nothing but self-surrender, where the mind merges into the heart, where the individual soul loses its limitations and is merged into that supreme Shiva, supreme being, which is your own true state. And then we come to Samatva Bhava. What is Samatva Bhava? Samatva is nothing but equanimity. Samatva Bhava is that principle of perfect equanimity, looking at all things equal, without the slightest ripple in the consciousness, looking at things without labeling as good and bad, something you like as something you don't like, without holding or pushing things away, but remaining as that pure witness, perfect equanimity is itself realization. And only in perfect equanimity can the true state be realized. Equanimity is that soil, that perfect soil. Can any seed sprout? It's all the effort you put in seeking. As a spiritual seeker, you can only see results if you're perfectly equanimous. If you're still holding on to things on the spiritual path, if you're still grabbing onto things and hating things on the spiritual path, there can be no progress. The only way to make progress is to be absolutely still, is to be absolutely equanimous and maintain an equilibrium. This is to walk the middle path, not getting excited, not getting dejected, not holding, not grabbing, not letting things have their sway over you, but looking at all things equally, with a sense of detachment, with equanimity. And what holds all these principles together? Titiksha, that is forbearance. Without the courage to stand tall, without the courage to stand alone and face any obstacles in your life, to face any obstacles in your life path, you cannot ever hope or dream of realization. The strength to handle things, the patience to follow the true path. Giving up all doubts, adhering to the principles of Dharma, of right practice. Not getting swayed, being patient every single day, being focused, being patient, following your path, following the principles of true spirituality. That is Titiksha. Only with principles of Mumukshatva, Vairagya, Bhakti, Samatva Bhav, and Titiksha can a spiritual seeker even begin his path towards self-realization. The principles of desire for enlightenment, detachment, divine love, equanimity, and forbearance. This is the foundation. This is the foundation for the spiritual path. To walk the path, these principles are most important. And without these principles, it is very easy to lose your way. And these principles by themselves are not different from the true self. The essence of all is one. That itself is realization. True bhakti is not a prerequisite. True bhakti is the path and the goal. Giving up your own self in true love, divine love, selfless love. This is not a path, just a path. This is the path, but this is also the goal. Likewise with equanimity, detachment, the path and the goal is yoga. Yoga literally means coming together or communion. Communion of the limited with the limitless. Individual with God. And there are 8 limbs of yoga that progressively lead one from the base state of ignorance to total absorption and dissolution of the ego. And these help a seeker to purify his mind and body and vibrate at high frequency, at a purer frequency. It helps one to find balance within and to become more harmonious with yourself and with nature, with the world around you. So there is less a conflict. The yamas and the niyamas. The yamas generally mean restraints. These are the rules, observations, rituals that we need to follow to help us move deeper towards the goal. And what are the yamas? The yamas are very simple. The rules are very simple. The first one is ahimsa, non-violence. Freedom from harming others. Do not harm others at any cost. These are like vows that we need to take to follow the path of spirituality. You cannot be on the path of spirituality, on the path of love, the path of devotion, the path of self-realization. Go on hurting other animals and other human beings and those around you. You cannot hurt. You cannot hurt Mother Earth. So the first thing is ahimsa, non-violence. And not just non-violence with action. Non-violence in words. Never speaking ill of others. Never abusing anybody. Never saying hurtful things. And not just words and actions, but also thought. True ahimsa is not even having the thought of violence within you. Never even dream of hurting anybody. Never ever dream of disturbing the peace of anybody around you. So this is true ahimsa. It's absolute non-violence in thought, action, and words. Then comes truth, satya. This is the second vow. Satya again is speaking truth under all circumstances. Not speaking lies. Being truthful. As you think, so you should speak. And as you speak, so you should act. Perfect alignment of thought, words, and action. One-pointedness. No separation, no divisions, no conflicted interests here. No manipulation of the mind. Life becomes so simple, so uncomplicated when you think, speak, and act in a linear way. You don't have to worry. A liar is always too aware, too self-aware for his own good, because he's lied to so many people. He needs to remember what lies he has told. This robs him of his peace of mind. You don't want to live that way. Speak the truth. Speak the truth at all times. So don't do anything that can harm anybody. If you're not doing anything that is harming anybody, troubling anybody, then you would have no problem speaking the truth. Only a liar, a cheat, a thief, a murderer, a violent person will have problems speaking the truth. A person with a pure heart, pure intentions can always speak the truth without any issues. This is the second vow. And the third vow we take is asteya, is non-stealing. This goes without saying. And when we say not stealing, again, it just means not desiring objects that belongs to others. Not even desiring the objects that belong to others. Not desiring someone else's wife. Not being jealous of someone else's job, of someone else's car, somebody's house, somebody's lifestyle. It is a great freedom when you're not jealous anymore. You're not comparing yourself anymore to other people. So you break free of the shackles of jealousy and peer pressure. You live your own life with integrity. And the fourth one is brahmacharya. Brahmacharya, it's a common term, but what it generally means is being free from sexual misconduct. In plain words, it means just being free from sexual misconduct. No abusing anybody, no misusing a female friend or a male friend, whatever. Not raping anybody. Things like that. But brahmacharya has a deeper meaning. Brahmacharya means always being in Brahma, meditating on Brahma, meditating on Atma. The one who is always in Brahman, he is a brahmachari. The one who is always meditating on Brahman, on Ishvara, on Shiva, on that Supreme Soul, he is a true Brahmachari. So that is the fourth vow. And then we have Aparigraha. Aparigraha, in modern terms, is very simply minimalism. Freedom from grasping, not accumulating many things, not holding on to things, but giving up, giving up, giving up. Not carrying things, not holding on, not wanting more things, not holding. It's very simple. It is Aparigraha. So first we have Ahimsa, we have Satya, we have Asteya, Brahmacharya and Aparigraha. Freedom from harming others, truthfulness, freedom from stealing, moderation in your sexual conduct, and meditating on Brahman, that is Brahmacharya, and freedom from holding, from grasping, from holding on to things. So also Patanjali's Yoga Sutras lists 5 niyamas, the rules, observances, which apply specifically to how you conduct yourself at a more personal level. So this is the first one is Saucha. Shaucha generally means cleanliness. But this is not just cleanliness of body. It's taking bath daily. We all take baths daily. We take a shower. That's not good enough. What about your surroundings? You should live in a clean place. How you sleep is very important. Where you sleep is very important. So you need to keep your environment around you extremely clean, not dirtying your environment around you, as well as not dirtying your own self. Maintaining personal hygiene, it goes without saying. It could be dental hygiene, it could be your hair, your nails, all of these things. But it also encompasses an internal cleanliness, maintaining internal cleanliness, not having negative thoughts, not giving rise to depression or anger or hatred, keeping away from these things that create problems in your personal life. So the first thing is cleanliness, and then we go to Santosha. Santosha means contentment, being contented with what you have. So be happy with what you have. Simple as that. Don't keep desiring more things. And have a sense of happiness. To an extent, happiness is a choice. Nobody is stopping you from smiling. You can smile. You can be happy. You can wish other people good morning, good afternoon, good night. Be happy. Be pleasant to be around. Have a sense of delight about it. Have a sense of positivity around you. Don't be a spiritual path is not a path of seriousness, so to say. It's about being sincere. But this is a very important part. You can be happy. You can be jovial. Santosha means happiness, jovial, being delighted. Being contented with what you have. Be happy with things that you already have. Be grateful for what you have. With gratitude comes contentment. If you're never grateful for the things you have, you're never going to be contented. And then we come to tapas. Tapas actually means to burn. It is this form of self-discipline, adherence to your rites and rituals and to the vows that you have taken, and to meditation, giving the sufficient time and energy, and to burn away your karma by purification. This is tapas. And then we come to Swadhyaya. Swadhyaya is self-study. So Swadhyaya sometimes also means studying scriptures, but applying scriptural injunctions to your own self, applying the ideas you learned in the scriptures to your own self. So self-study, self-inquiry. Who am I? Why am I here? Where am I going? What is my true state? How do I deal with this emotion that I'm feeling? Giving yourself sufficient time. This is Swadhyaya. And then finally we come down to surrender. Surrender is synonymous with bhakti. Here it is called Ishvara Pranidhana. So Ishvara Pranidhana is surrendering to the divine, surrendering to that one force, that one energy. So it is important to have one object of meditation before you. This could be a guru, this could be light, this could be a divine being, this could be a deity, a god that you love. Any form of God that you love. The mother goddess could be Shiva, it could be Vishnu, it could be Jesus. But Ishvara Pranidhana is very clear. Surrender to the divine, one pointed. Have some form, a concrete form of divinity in front of you that you can go down to, that you can surrender. This helps. Then we come down to the next topic, which is asana. Now, what is asana? Asana usually means sitting. Asana is what your body does. When we think of asana today, we think of all kinds of postures, yogic postures where people are doing exercises. But the true meaning of asana is to sit down. It's to sit straight, with your spine erect, your neck aligned, in a firm posture. And why do we need this? This is for meditation. Without a firm posture, without a straight posture, it is very difficult to meditate. With crossed legs, you sit on the ground, with your eyes looking straight forward, and your neck erect, and your back erect straight. This is an asana. And this is the foundation for meditation. When we start going into, the practical application of all the principles of yoga, practical application for meditation, for contemplation, then the most important thing first and foremost is asana. We need a firm asana, something that will hold you straight and firm. We don't want to be falling off. We don't want to be dozing off when you're meditating. The first most important thing is asana, followed by pranayama. Pranayama is regulating the breath. There are three aspects of pranayama: Puraka, Rechaka, and Kumbhaka. Puraka is the incoming breath, Kumbhaka is the breath that is held within, and Rechaka is the outgoing breath. These three things, this is the cycle, exactly the way we have discussed before. This is the cycle of birth, sustenance, and dissolution. This happens every moment in your own body. So being able to regulate through pranayama, there are several pranayama kriyas that are taught. But what we need to know is pranayama helps in regulating the breath, and it purifies your nerves, your nervous system, which makes it easier for you to become meditative, to become one point. It helps you go closer to your object of meditation, to have more clarity in your meditation. So after asana and pranayama, we come to pratyahara. This is just withdrawal of senses. It's withdrawing the senses and going within. It is during this stage that we make the conscious effort to draw our awareness away from the external world and outside stimuli. We cultivate a sense of detachment, a tangible detachment within ourselves. Detachment from our senses, from the mind, and we direct our attention within, internally. This practice of pratyahara, with this we take a good look at ourselves. This is the first step for the mind to introvert, to go within. This withdrawal allows us to observe our cravings, our habit back. We can look at our breath. With pratyahara, we go back and we look at our senses. Pratyahara means to withdraw, and each of these stages prepare us for the next stage. So the practice of pratyahara creates the setting for dharana, or concentration. So once we withdraw our senses, what are we doing? What are we focusing on? And we begin to look within ourselves. We begin to look at our own selves. So we go into dharana. practice of concentration which precedes meditation. We learn how to slow down the thinking process by concentrating on a single object. It could be your breath, it could be a sensation. So this is dharana with effort. It's focused concentration, and with effort we hold on to an object of meditation. And after dharana we come to dhyana. When the mind becomes stable, the mind is not being swayed by outside objects. Your mind is already withdrawn, and your concentration has led you to a deep meditation. The ego still remains, the subject and object still remain, but you're looking at the object with one point concentration. This is dhyana. Dhyana is unbroken. When it is broken, it is pratyahara. You have to bring the mind back again. And when it is more or less steady, you're streamlining your thought process, you're streamlining your mind, you're training your mind to look at one object. But in dhyana, the mind is already focused on the object. It is unshaken, so to say. The subject remains focused on the object. Your awareness, your witnessing consciousness is focusing on the object of meditation. One-pointed meditation, that is dhyana. But there is an effort here. Even at a subtler level, even if it is at a subtler level, there is an effort. As long as there is an effort, it is not complete absorption. This is dhyana, when you become one-pointed, but there is an effort. But you are able to focus on that object and gain knowledge of that object at a very minute level, at a very atomic level. You are able to break down that object and look at it purity. This dhyana leads to savikalpa samadhi. This leads to samadhi. Samadhi is complete absorption in the object of meditation, where the subject and the object don't remain. There is only one thing, there is only the object of meditation. You can neither say it is the object nor can you say it is the subject. In this state, the subject influences the object and the object influences the subject. The subject and the object are one and the same. You are that. You are that which you meditate upon. In this state, the mind, the difference between the mind and the self disappears. As long as there is a hint of ego, of individuality, it is called savikalpa samadhi. Because the form remains, the form of the ego remains, the form of the object remains. As long as the form of the object remains, it is savikalpa samadhi. Savikalpa is with form. Vikalpa means will. So as long as you are looking at the object, there is a sense of I am looking at this. And the ego remains, that is savikalpa samadhi. But savikalpa loses its form when this meditation, this samadhi becomes effortless. When the ego disappears and the ego is merged into the self. This is called nirvikalpa samadhi. In nirvikalpa samadhi, there is no I, there is no you, there is no object, there is no subject. There are no forms, there are no limitations. There is no sense of time and space. These things cease to exist. Nirvikalpa is that true state of being where you are free from all limitations, from modified consciousness. The consciousness expresses itself fully. You are the cosmos. You are that one. You are the universe of universes. You are no more divided. You are no more the limited self. You are that Satchitananda. You are that existence. You are the truth. You are that bliss. You are that Brahman. You are that origin of the universe. You are like the sky of consciousness. Nothing else exists. There is only you. without the sense of limitations. The true I shines forth. This is Nirvikalpa Samadhi, where all vikalpas disappear, where the will disappears, where the intention disappears, and the origin of ego disappears. Only the self remains. This is Nirvikalpa Samadhi. This is true, effortless absorption. And in your waking state, at all times you live in this state, in the world, going about doing your actions, but not in the very least being affected by them, not in the very least affected by the world around you, not in the very least being bothered, being shaken, being influenced by the world around you. This is called Sahaja Sthiti, that natural state. Nirvikalpa Samadhi, in your natural state, and this becomes natural to you when you're going about talking to people, working with people, living in the world as though nothing has changed externally, but internally the whole universe is changed. You are that universe. This is Sahaja Sthiti, the natural state, where you are as you are. There is only grace, there is only love, there is only that freedom, there is only that one God, that godliness that flows in all beings, that is beyond time, beyond space. You are that omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent, limitless, that supreme bliss. You are that shines forth. You are the origin of the universe. You are that unaffected by the universe, by Prakriti, by nature, by existence. You are that. That is Sahaja Sthiti. That is your own true state. You are always that, even now. You are as you are. All the prerequisites is for people who fail to recognize their true state, their own true state in this moment. Know who you are. Know who you are right now. You are that. Know it. Recognize your own self. Give up all doubts. Give up all limitations. Surrender to this moment. You are that. Thou art that. Tattvamasi. You are the universe. I am that universe. Aham Brahmasmi. You are that Brahman. You are that supreme state. I am Atma Brahma. I am Atma Brahma. You are that awareness. Your awareness is that true state. Your awareness is that self. Pragnanam Brahma. Know the truth of your own self in this very moment and be liberated. Meditate on the sense of I am. I am. I am.